go back to the drawing board, the reason why you got married in the first place. And when you're getting married, if it's to do with marriage and you and your husband, then I think what I agree with the lady with the short hair. Yeah, I agree with what she said in the sense that she doesn't want her husband to feel less of a man. That's what I took out of it. I feel like when you get married, you become one, and money shouldn't be the definition of your marriage. So therefore, if I'm earning more than my husband, our money is together. We're a collective. We're supposed to be doing this marriage life together. So therefore, I think it defeats the purpose when you kind of like make it out like I'm doing more than you're doing, because it's supposed to be a union. And when that happens, where there's like a breakdown in terms of who's earning more and who has more right in making decisions and stuff like that, I think that's where the marriage starts breaking down. So I think once we all understand that marriage is a union, everything about marriage is leaving your household, your mom's house, and moving in with someone else, is building a family together. And so you want to show that to your kids as well. I don't know if you guys agree.
But isn't that idealistic? So that's the ideal thing, right? Before you get into the marriage, you're supposed to come together, it's a union and all of that. So that's the ideal thing. But then practically, when you then get into the nitty-gritty of it, right, let's be realistic. So how realistic is that?
Okay, but
so there's the ideal thing, and then
way, but then
the realistic thing.
Idealistic way is what it says in the Bible. The Bible says that the head of the household is the man. So if you stand in front of the altar and said your vows and gone with it for richer, for poorer, and now you're earning more money than your husband, then I think you should go back to the drawing board in terms of what the Bible says and make that your guide in terms of not looking at yourself as in, I make more money than my husband, and so I should make. And that's what a lot of African women do. Well, from the movies that I've watched and some people that I have seen, their marriages where they are earning more, so they belittle the man. I don't agree with that.
Absolutely. I don't agree with that. But what we also see in the movie, what we also see in the Nigerian movies or the African movies as well, is that the man has got the big contracts, he has all the cars, he has everything, and spending money outside on some other women, on some aposteleke. So that should be, there's a lot of things we don't agree with. There's some ideal things that it should be, but it never is. But I think for me, to an extent, the point I'm trying to understand is, should I be planning when I can save 50K because of you, because you're not pulling your weight? I don't understand. If it's the head of the household, because I'm earning more, should it not be paying more of the bill and afford it?
Hey, I don't think that you should. I don't think that you should be watching what you should be watching what the person is doing. You're doing it for you. You're doing it because judgment, you will be judged for that. So therefore, you got to do it as a, I don't know if we're talking in terms of Christian women, but you got to do it because it's the right thing to do. If that's what your husband is doing, you can raise the point with him, but it doesn't mean that you should do the same when you're the one that's making more money than him. Two wrongs don't make a right.
All right, Gloria, go ahead.
Okay, this is the thing. This is what I think. I know we say all this amazing thing. Yeah, you know, well, partnership, and I said all of that in the beginning, which I still stand by. However, partnerships and marriages, not all of them last. But when you work so hard, right, you also need to protect yourself. Okay? And because of that, That's why sometimes you have my money is my money, but that's what that was my answer. So you need to protect yourself. You need to make sure that, you know, your money is not squandered. You need to make sure that you know what you're doing, especially as a woman, right? So I think that ideally you go into that relationship wanting it to be equal, but because life is just a beam for itch sometimes, so you need to put things in place in order to protect yourself. That's my first point. My second point, I know what the Bible said. Yeah, I get that. But I know that when a man goes to court and says how, oh, well, we signed a prenuptial agreement, you shouldn't get half of the money. He's forgotten that we were Christian and we stood in front of the altar, right? So ultimately, as grown-ups, you need to protect yourself, okay? And also what you said about the head of the house thing as well, again, it goes back to the value of what value you place on money. If your husband ain't even working, right, it's how you treat him, right? He won't be made to feel inferior to you. He won't be made to feel a certain way to you. If we keep putting the value on the money and his worth on the money, that's when her earning more than you should be an issue. And quite frankly, he should be your cheerleader that you're doing amazing. Should be your cheerleader that you're making so much money. He shouldn't be annoyed.
No, but that's true.
But that's the thing. Some men actually have issue with the woman earning more. So you'll find in a lot of relationships, the man is actually not cheerleading anything, and then envy comes into it as well.
Exactly. Because they're wired to tie
like
their worth to
marriage as well. What was that?
Alpha male in them. Is the alpha
because
male
they're
in
wired
them?
to tie their worth to money.
Mm.
That's the way they're
And
wired.
of the household. That is something that we as mothers have created. We, the
Exactly.
women,
Yeah.
have created.
Oh, do you know, I was just going to say that as well, because the
So
way
what did we
some
create?
men behave, to be honest, it's as a result of how the woman allows it to happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whether, for example, he may not be paying all the bills, or he's just going out all the time, or whatever, she's allowed it to happen to an extent. Because she hasn't demanded, she has not expected it from him. So he then doesn't do.
So what that
But
means
Rita is saying that. Rita is saying it's from the grassroots. Rita and Diola is saying it's from the grassroots.
Exactly.
Rita
They're
and
two
Diola,
different things. Yeah.
I'm saying two different things. I agree with what the lady with the short hair. Sorry, I've forgotten her name. It keeps slipping me.
Or just call me
I
T.
agree with totally. That's a different perspective. But also what I'm saying is that it starts from the grassroots, as in from when they're kids. So now I'm raising boys, right? And what I'm basically pushing them and telling them that you are the man of the household. You look after a woman. You take care of a woman. So you can't slack. You need to make sure that everything that you do is on point, above and beyond. Because you are the one that the woman will be looking up to. You're the head. And that's how basically men are wired. So when they go into marriage and that is happening and they have an issue with it and stuff like that, in terms of their alpha male being pushed down and stuff, because they're then unable to maybe earn more than the woman, or we the women, we created that they have to look after us. We did. Created it from the grassroots.
we didn't.
Because as a man, you are supposed to look after women.
I think if you go back to centuries and days, that was just the natural roles that men and women
and it wasn't the women who created it. It was the men of the patriarchy. I'm sorry.
I think it was more society that created that role.
Exactly. Yeah. Society. It's not the women. It's not just the women. It's society.
Exactly. And quite frankly, back then, right? Back then, the society, mainly the people in power that were influential, were the men. And the reason why he's the head of the house was to justify okay, being a certain way. It was to justify when women couldn't own a land without a man next to them.
Who created the man? Was it not God that raised the man?
I'm tired.
Did you say, was it not women that raised the man?
Down to women, because we raise the man, whether they're in government, whether they're in a hierarchy position. We as women raise the man.
No.
You understand? And we raise him to be an alpha male to take care of the household.
No.
Yeah, not necessarily, because the husband or father in that picture would have been there as well, being part of raising that boy. And he's the one who's more likely, like in my household, for example, yes, I am raising my son, he's 5. But my husband, the way he raised him, is more of a man's way. You gotta be strong, you gotta be brave, you gotta be tough, and all this sort of stuff. But it's not me saying that as the mother, he's saying it as the father. So it's the father who are raising their son to be like that.
But listen, you half of the time, because your husband is at work trying to make sure you're a woman with the kids more than the husband, unless you're a house husband. Majority of the time is the woman that's raising the kids. Let's call a spade a spade.
No.
I think they're raising them in terms of their well-being.
One by one. Not just the parents. The parents. The society also contributes to making a man feel that his worth is tied to money. Because even for those that are working, you hear people saying, oh, you're a man, you're supposed to be responsible for people, and then they give you more money. And in fact, it also spills into how men earn more than women, which is why you find in an organization you're doing the same role, but the man is earning more than you, because the society expect that you have more responsibilities than the woman. So it's not just, oh, your mother drilling into you that you're a man, you should do this, you should do that. It's the society as a whole. The moment you're a man, the society drills it into your head, not just your family, but even society as a whole. Like, you're a man, you're supposed to be responsible for your wife, you're supposed to be responsible for your kids. And that's why they will give you more money, even in organizations. So it's not just your family, it's the society. Or it's not just your mom, it's the society.
And also, I don't have the time, okay, to apportion blame on women for men's bad behavior. I just don't have the time for it. Because actually the society, the system that's been put in place by men for men, okay, has not helped women. So, I just can't accept that the reason why a lot of men think this and think that is because women are responsible for it. Yes,
but women contribute to Gloria. Women contribute to it as well.
Yes,
they're not responsible.
Women contribute to it as well.
They
contribute to it. Whether as moms or as girlfriends, we contribute to it.
Yeah, but also let's remember that man is a grown-up adult. Okay. Period. Mm-hmm. So he's responsible for the lessons he chooses to take, and you can leave some things and you can take some things. He's responsible for it. He's a grown-up adult, so therefore he takes ownership for his own actions. Okay?
But he lives within a society. He doesn't live alone. So you can't look at it outside the context of his society or the influence of his society on him. He's not living on some island by himself. So you can't look at it outside the context of the influence of the society or the way women view him or the way women treat him
Okay, how about this, Jola? Oh, I'm sorry, my dear Jola. The reason why I cheated on you and some girl because the society and women has allowed men to get away with cheating. No, you won't accept that. It's ownership as an individual who has done it. You just won't accept that as an excuse. Sorry.
No, let's be realistic. You'll be influenced by your society the same way we women do stuff because the society expects us to do it. We can't. Our actions are influenced by our surroundings.
No, but nobody said your actions are not influenced by your society. But at the end of the day, that's your decision that you took as a grown-up adult. Yes, it's
Not
influence.
necessarily, unconsciously. I find
So what? So what happened? You're consciously.
I don't even know sometimes.
Let me get this. You're consciously.
I don't even know. It's an unconscious thing, unconscious bias.
Yeah, but unconscious bias are okay for certain things. Okay, certain things. But he didn't unconscious biasly fuck some girl. He didn't. He didn't unconscious biasly not pay the bills in the house. He didn't. There's certain things that those things are, you can make excuses for, but major things like that you just can't. Oh, I'm sorry, you know, all my friends were fucking girls, so I thought I should do it too. No, bruv, that's not gonna work. I'm sorry, all my friends don't look after their family, so I thought I should look after them too. We have to remember that these men are grown up, okay? And you have to allow them to take responsibility regardless of what society does. Because what society does is influences you, and your number two will tell you whether to do the right thing or not. Yeah, my case was.
Okay, fair point.
It's the truth.
I mean, I'm not going to support
Henrietta, you can't say anything. Okay, but Gloria, hold on, you guys. I understand. I do agree. I do agree that society frames us and all of that. And I agree that women raise their kids and maybe nurture their kids and still ideas and notions in their head. But we have to also remember that where those ideas came from, women have power at that time. So some of those things that we are now instilling in our children was transcended to us, came to us from somewhere, and it came from men. So we have now born that idea. Do you understand? Whether it's religious belief, something in the Bible says a woman needs to be submissive, a woman is meek, a woman needs to be this, and the woman, you know, you need to wait for the man to propose to you. That idea is some dominant ideology. It came from somewhere. Who made those ideas that you are now as a mother feeling in your child? Which now means that because the man is not the head of the household, he now feels less of a man. That's the reason why a man's ego will kick in. It's almost like you've taken his dick from him. Suddenly you're earning more than him, and then it's like naked him. Why? It's only now that these things are now changing form, where some men are happy to be the house husbands.
What's wrong with that?
When we all came to this house, we didn't come with a manual that this is how it's got to be. Somebody set those rules. Somebody set those ideas that we now accept as dominant ideology.
And 9 times out of 10 is the men. Men create most of our system, okay? And it benefits them more than it does us. So if you want to start laying in blames, I suggest we look at those guys. Do you know what I mean? And that's just how it is. I don't have time to be apportioning blame on women for things that men can do differently. You teach your child right. You told your child that, you know what, treat women well, do this, do that. But guess what? Your kid will go out, maybe not your kid, someone's kid will go out and be like, oh, my mom said I shouldn't do this, but now I'm gonna do it. But you taught your kid right. Your kid's grown up adult mind made a decision to weigh it up and then choose. So we have to give people responsibility. We have to give people responsibility and allow them to be accountable for their actions.
Absolutely. Please, ladies, keep talking. Yeah, I agree. I also agree. I have a problem with a man. You know how we are in this world. It's all we pick and choose the one we want. We pick and choose the one we want to follow. When the man is doing well and is well by us, it's right. Somebody made that rule somewhere, as if that's what we're saying. So when you've got a responsible man doing what he should be doing in the household, suddenly it's okay for the man to be responsible. So why can't he be irresponsible? Why is it okay that women sit in the house and they're not working anyway? Do you understand what I mean? So it's almost like we're picking and choosing. When it benefits us, it's like, yeah, the society raised him well. When it doesn't benefit us, then it's almost like it's an issue. What we're discussing right now is, you know, my money is my money or whatnot. So if the man is not reliable, we're saying maybe somebody didn't raise him right or what? Sorry, guys, I don't.
Exactly. And that's the reason why I said that I can't say that. He chose to do what he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tamwa, go ahead.
I was going to say that no, it's not that someone didn't raise him right. Most of us are actually raised right. It's the decisions we make along our journey when we grow up that will determine whether, you know, you just don't have anything to bring to the table compared to a man that does.
Okay.
So let me just throw something out there. With everything that I've said, I am a true believer that if my husband goes out to work and I'm at home with the kids, and he makes all the money in the world, God forbid we divorce, I deserve 50% of it. I'm also a believer.
You do what? You do what? Sorry, I didn't
said
hear
what I
that.
said.
She deserves
Gloria.
50% of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, repeat it, Yola.
With everything I said, I do believe that if we are a household, we're a family, my husband, I stay at home, look after the kids and things, and he goes out, builds a company, and we divorce, I deserve 50% of that money.
Of course, you
Okay.
do deserve 50% of that money.
Because
Yeah,
give
you
your
do
own part,
deserve
yeah.
you do deserve a portion of the money. I don't know in terms of percentage because,
Yes, it was.
for example, the man goes out and does all the work in terms of working. You stay at home and look after the kids. When he comes home, does he also take on with parental responsibility?
It really depends, isn't it? This is at the end of the day, I cooked,
If he does,
I clean.
yeah, but when he comes home, does he still do those things?
Sorry?
Does he still do those things when he comes home? He may, you know, on a Saturday he does the cleaning.
If he's putting in that work, if you put in all that work to be that successful, whatever he's trying to do is still going to be as much as he would have been doing. Because don't forget, it's not easy looking after a house. It's not looking easy.
No. I'm telling you, lockdown is killing me right now.
So when you say that, what is the woman doing sitting at home? She's not just sitting at home, mate. She's doing things. Maybe she's looking after him emotionally. Maybe she's making sure when he comes home, she's sexy. You don't know. There's value to different things. It really depends on what you put value on. Some men would prefer their missus not work at all and just spend her time looking nice, right? Because that's what he puts his value on. There's some people when
what if the woman does work as well, but obviously she still takes a lot of the parental responsibility because we just naturally do, and you divorce, etc. Would you still get 50%?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
We add our stuff together and then we split it. And I don't just mean it as a woman, even if it's a man. I think I see it both ways.
Yes.
I'm not saying it.
It depends. So it depends on what you're sharing.
I also believe it.
You guys,
It depends on what you're sharing. So if
right.
it's a $1 billion thing, for instance, and this man has, or whether the woman, you know, okay, or let's even break it down. Like Mary J. Blige, when she divorced her husband. So are you saying that, oh, the man is going to, because he's been a house husband, then he gets 50% of everything that she's built?
Okay,
so you have to look at the context as well.
Yeah, you have to be in context. I'm talking about people who've been together for a long time. He was brass when they got together, and they built.
And people who have children, I think, as well. People who have children, because you can't have children and you be a house husband or a housewife. I don't understand why.
Well, I'm sorry. Maybe we don't have kids. When he comes home, I rub his back. I make sure I'm nice. I watch loads of porn to make sure I give it to him right. Maybe that's what he wants.
You could be doing that anyway, Gloria.
People have enough at the end of the day, because I mean, if it's a lot of money, then are you saying that you're going to put value to rubbing back and all of that gives you 50%?
Because everything in life has value. Everything has value. Is it money? Is it talking? Is the conversation? Everything has value. So there's value in
Yes, it will have value. Maybe not 50% in terms of percent, but yes, it will have value.
Yeah,
but not 50%.
Well, the bottom line is this. Those are special cases where you built together. Do you know what I mean? I don't expect it to be, I've just come to meet him and he's already made and then I want to take half his money. I don't agree with that, right? But I'm talking about people who were grown together and built together. You know, that's like, for instance, you know, those are sort of situation I'm talking about, because everything.
So along the line, you would have contributed into ideas, whether it's business ideas or whatever.
Yeah, I'm rubbing his back. I'm talking to him. I'm saying, baby, don't worry. He's a dickhead anyway. Don't stress about it. You know, all those things. And he's going, yeah, you know what? Just lie down. Let me rub your feet. It helps, right? So it depends what you put value on, right? And that's the reason why in the beginning I said it depends on what value you put on that money. If that money is the most important thing to you, then you will never see your husband as the breadwinner if it's not bringing in that money. But actually, the fact that if I come into the house and I'm angry and I say something to my husband and I'm dead wrong, and he turned around and said, yeah, that person's an idiot anyway, that's good enough for me, because you just need someone to back you sometimes, even if you're not right. You know what I mean? He'll say to me, oh, yeah, that person's an idiot. And then maybe later he'll go, oh, you know, before, yeah? Whatever. But just someone who's there, and there's value to everything, you know? And
Right,
when you have all those values, the money becomes less important.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely
Gloria,
right.
what you said there is a ride or die. That's what you want.
That's what
It's right or die.
You want someone to back you when you're wrong. That's a ride or die.
No, but keep in mind, I did say that he would then say to me later on, you know what you said.
Yes, exactly. But that's still ride or die. At that precise moment, he took your side to make you feel better.
I want him to take my side to calm me in that moment. But at the same time, I want to be told the truth. I want to be told the truth. Because him not telling me the truth, is to my detriment.
When I was talking to you about the ride or die, and I made that analogy of when I say I come and I said I've killed someone, you say where is the body? And not give me a third degree.
I don't understand that kill somebody else.
And not give me a third degree. But then later on, you can now turn around and say to me, do you know what? Why did you kill that person? What was the reason why you killed the person? That's wrong, you know. You need to respect yourself.
I understand that.
But that's a ride or die.
You didn't make that point. You didn't make that point at the time. But that's
you didn't allow me.
Right? Fine. Okay. But that's not the point I was making then. That's not the point I was making then. The point I was making was, yes, it's good for you to want to ride or die. You're allowed. I was just saying that this ride or die concept is disproportionate.
It refers to women only.
Women are always the one that always have to ride or die for him. But he can cheat. He can beat you. I have to forgive him. I try to cheat on my partner. He's out the door. That's what I'm trying to say when I said that.